Hey, this is Kaufman is a live YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Blood Hunt number 5 of 5. Just came out today. It's by Marvel Comics. This is a really cool video for me because the first video that I ever put out on my channel was a review of Blood Hunt number 1. And here we are today. Blood Hunt number 5 comes out, the final issue, and it's the same day I hit 100 subscribers. So some very cool serendipity there. And I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who has subscribed. It really means a lot to me. I just love sharing comic books with people, sharing my thoughts. Never thought I'd get this kind of response from people. We've had some great interaction in the comments. And I want to thank all my subscribers again. I'm going to shout out some of them. Koki Heavy Metal was my 100 subscribers, so big shout out to you. Aw Geez, he posts on a lot of my videos, and we've had some good discussions, so I want to shout out Aw Geez. DC Patrol, shout out to you. Cable 1982. DJ H0MER24, he's posted on some of my videos, big shout out. WTSD 850. J Adonis 5328. Deadpool Huff, who actually posted on my X-Men collection by Jim Lee review that the backgrounds of those images were actually wrapping paper. So some knowledge getting dropped in the comments here. I love it. Frankenstern 8803. John White, who is the clerk at my comic shop, he just subscribed today. I want to shout out to you, John. Thanks again for subscribing. Comics for Life 2023. Descendo. So there's just a whole bunch of you here. I can't really get to all of you right now, and if I didn't get to you, sorry about that, but thanks for subscribing again. And we'll try and get into this issue here, Blood Hunt number 5. I didn't pick up issues 3 or 4 of Blood Hunt. I kind of figured by issue 5, I'd have a good idea what was going on if I just tangentially caught up with it with the Vengeance of Moon Knight comic, and I was following the Wolverine Blood Hunt comic as well, although that doesn't really play into this at all. But we see the key players here. Of course, Blade, he's been possessed by Varney, who was the first vampire, which right off the bat on the first issue, I kind of figured that Blade wasn't really turning on people, that he was possessed by some sort of vampire demon or something, and that's exactly what we get in this issue. We've got the Sorcerer Supreme, who is Doctor Strange at this point, but he's handing the mantle off to Doctor Doom, who's convinced him that he's the only one that can save the world. And for some reason, Doctor Strange obliges. We get the Avengers battling the Blood Coven here, which we also saw in the first issue of Blood Hunt. And I kind of figured the Avengers would eventually make their comeback, and we're getting it here in the final issue. They freed the Scarlet Witch here, so she's able to help them out finally using all her power. Black Panther got turned as well, and I kind of figured, along with Miles Morales, they both got turned into vampires, and I didn't think it would stick. Fortunately, Miles is going to remain a vampire, it seems, at the end of this issue. So if they're sticking with that as a character point going forward with Miles, I'm all for it. I love subtle changes to characters, or maybe it's not so subtle, but advancing the characters, I'm always a fan of that. But we got T'Challa, he's turned back to normal here. Blade's going to fight Thor, who's still waiting on his hammer to arrive from outer space. And Blade says he really hates Thor, so he wants to take him out. And we get a really cool sequence here between Iron Man and Scarlet Witch. He says, cast the Montesi formula. And she says, no, I can't do that. I will not wipe out an entire people. I will not do that again. So again, referencing how she wiped out all the mutants once before, and Iron Man wants her to do the same to the vampires, which is something she could do. So I'm glad the writer brings it up here, Jed MacKay, and she says she won't do that again. So that's really cool. We get Doom here, who, now that they've announced Robert Downey Jr. is coming in to play Doctor Doom, obviously they're setting him up as one of the main antagonists here in the Marvel Universe, and synchronicity with the films, which is a good thing to see. It's taken a long time, I feel like, for comics and the movies to get in sync together. We see like the X-Men are starting to do that now. They've kind of changed the X-Men status quo back to how it used to be, which is in line with how the movies are probably going to be. And they're setting up Doom here as a big baddie. So he gives Stephen his word that he'll give the Sorcerer Supreme mantle back to him once he saves the world. So unfortunately for Strange, that's very open-ended. And we get some different colored pages here. There's two colorists. Marte Gracia is the main colorist, but we've also got Fuerst and Fuentes Sujo. And he does some of the panels and pages that look like Alex Ross style, or like a Hildebrandt Brothers style here. It seems like all of, or most of the pages involving Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom are colored by him. So then we get a Marte Gracia splash page colored here over Pepe Larraz's pencils. Pepe Larraz just does an incredible job in this book. It's a really, really great book to look at. Really pretty artwork. And the colors really pop too. So I want to shout out everybody working on this book here. We got VC's Corey's Petit. He's the letterer. Tom Brevoort's the editor, obviously. So anyway, we got Brielle, who's the daughter of Blade, and Dracula here. And they get joined up by Miles Morales, who is still a vampire, and she starts to explain that she's the only one with power, so it's her responsibility, thinking that Miles isn't going to know about that, but he's Spider-Man, so of course he knows about power and responsibility, and he says he's actually part of their bloodline now too, so he really knows everything. And Thor gets Mjolnir back and blasts Blade here. Moon Knight finally makes an appearance as he's back from the dead. He's brought all of his fists of Khonshu. Doom, he's now the Sorcerer Supreme. And we get some really great pages here again by the other colorist. Just awesome art here by Pepe Larraz again. We got Verne here, who's possessed Blade. He seems to have gotten the best of the Avengers. But Brielle comes and she tries to stab Blade. She can't quite do it, so Miles comes in and does it. And he says he's part of the bloodline, so he can stab him, get the spirit of Verne out of him, which gives Doom a chance to come in and reverse all of these like demonic breaches, blocking out the sun and possessing all of the bad guys that they're possessing. Blade finally falls down to the ground after Verne comes out of him here, and he's back to normal, so he's not dead. And the Avengers basically save the day, and we get kind of a reverse of the first cover where they were all on the right side and the darkness was creeping in, and now we get them here all on the left, and the sun's peeking through the clouds. So Stephen, he tries to butter up Doom. He says, that was an incredible piece of magic, Victor. And he says, so when are you going to give me back that Sorcerer Supreme? You had an oath. He goes, yes, I said I'd give it back to you once I saved the world, but I've only just begun. And then he kind of dissipates Stephen, who's living kind of in the undead spiritual world now. And Doom says, let me show you what it means to save the world. Then the sun comes out, and Miles thinks he's going to start to fry. Dracula just laughs and says, when you do the world a favor, it owes you one back. So they're all the vampires actually can no longer be burned by the sun. So Dracula doesn't really explain how that happened, but that's one of the consequences here to the blood hunt. So, and then probably the coolest thing that kind of really sold me on this book here was at the end we get a transmission from above, goes out to everybody, Tony Stark says, and it's from Doom. He says, Earth's new Sorcerer Supreme, Victor Von Doom. And he tells the world you only have one man to thank for stopping the blood hunt. So we get Doom. And we at the very end, we get an ad for coming in November, One World Under Doom. So I don't know about, using one giant, summer miniseries to kind of promote the next miniseries, which kind of seems like what this has done here. But a really great comic book, though. Anyway, I love the artwork in it, and the writing's really good. So I'd highly recommend this. I don't know about the whole series, but as far as a single issue, this one is definitely worth checking out. Although for the $5.99 price, and if you get the red band, which I have just protested getting the red bands, they're $6.99. So for an extra $1, you can get some panels that have been redrawn in supposedly a bloodier manner. But there's plenty of Marvel books that are bloody enough, so... and there's other comic books out there that are, just violent enough. I don't understand why Marvel has to try and, squeeze another $1 out of you for it. But I'm not going to fall for it. So, but I do like this issue nonetheless. So once again, this has been a really cool video for me. So thanks again for subscribing. If you haven't yet, please do. Really helps the channel out. I just love sharing comic books with you guys, and I want to keep it going. So join me on the next video. Thanks again for watching. See you later.